Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, which is if, else, and else if statements. So basically, in code, we often want to check if a state is indeed the state where look that is the case. So, for example, if you want to check when someone is buying something in a game, whether they do or don't have enough money. So that's, for example, a great that's a great example where we can use if or else statements. So, for example, we can make a variable called money, and it is 20. And for example, the product that the player wants to buy costs 15. So then perhaps we want to do if money is larger than 15, because basically this is the same as true in the case that money is more than 15. And then we do this word then, and basically if this thing is true, whatever is inside here will run. That code will run, that code will be executed. But whenever money is less than 15 or 15 or less, when it's not larger than 15, this code will not run. This code will be skipped, what's inside of here, what's between the then and the end. So, in this situation, let's print the player. The player has enough money, because the player does have enough money if they have more than 15 money. So if we currently run this, it should not print anything because the player does not have enough money. As you can see, it does not print anything. So if we do have enough money, if the player does have enough money, 16, which is obviously more than 15, it's unlike the previous situation, will print the player has enough money because the player does have enough money, namely 16, and 15 is the minimum. 16 is the minimum because 15 is not enough. You have to have more than 15. Okay, so perhaps now we did something in the situation that the player does have enough money, but maybe we also want to do something when the player does not have enough money. So instead of adding an extra if with if money is less than 16, then we can do a much easier approach of using the else word. If you do else, basically, if this thing is true, then line 31 will run. But if that thing is false, then line 33 will run. Or line 34 and 33, etc. Just everything that's inside of between the else and the end. So for example, in here we can print the player does not have enough money. Go farm money. So currently what we're doing is, if this is true, so if there's more than 15 money, we're going to print the player has enough money. But if that is not the case, so else, print the player does not have enough money, go farm money. So because the player still has more than 15, namely 16 money, the first thing, the original thing, should be printed. The player has enough money. As you can see, it prints still. But now if we modify it again and the player does no longer have enough money because they don't have more than 15, as you will be able to see, it now prints the player does not have enough money. Go farm money. So as you can see, it now just picks one of these two to do, depending on whether this thing is true or false. Then there is one more thing that we want to discuss, because there is not only if, else, but there's also else if. Basically what this does is you can stack multiple if statements on top of each other. So for example, we can do, if the money is not 15, but it is more than 10, then this thing will happen. So if the money is more than 15, this thing will happen. If the money is less than 15, is not more than 15, but it is more than 10, this thing will happen. And if it is neither of those things, then, only then, whatever is inside of the else will happen. So for example, print the player does not have enough, but they can almost buy it, because they almost have more than 15 money. So currently we are on 10, which is not more than 10. So it will still say the player does not have enough money, go farm. Because neither of these are true. Money is not more than 15 and money is not more than 10. But now say we put it on 12, which is less than 15, so this will be false. Then it will go check this. Is the money larger than 10? Yes, it is. It is 12. So then it will do this one. As you can see, it will now not do either of the previous options, but it will now say the player does not have enough, but they can almost buy it, because he does have more than 10, but not more than 15. And that's mostly all there is to if and else statements. I just want to add a little thing. Basically, this means is larger than. So for example, if 15 is larger than 12, this is basically the same as if you write it true, because, well, 15 is larger than 12, so it is true. Then you have is smaller than, obviously, which in this case will make it false, because 15 is not smaller than 12. So it's basically the same as if you write false. Then, other than that, you also have a double is. The double is sign basically means that you want to check if the two things, the one on the left and the one on the right, are exactly equal. Which, well, here they are not exactly equal, because 15 is not the same as 12. So in this case, this is the same as writing false. But for example, if you do 15 is 15, this will be true. So that's the main types of things you can use inside of if statements. A little exercise would be maybe incorporating this function here. Would be to make a function that takes two numbers, and if the sum of the two numbers is more than 10, you print that it is more than 10, and if the sum of the two numbers is not more than 10, print that it is not more than 10. So let me really quickly write that out for you. Make a function that takes two parameters, numbers, sums the two, and if they are more, if their sum is more than 10, prints that it is. Otherwise, print that it isn't. Okay. Well, that's basically all for this little tutorial, and we'll continue with the next one.